There's a quarterback named Jacob Eason. He's a stud quarterback. Jacob Eason is amazing. He's from my home state of Vancouver. He's from my home state of Washington. He lives about, I think, 30 minutes north of Seattle. He was in the Elite 11. He's a stud. Out of high school, Jacob Eason committed to University of Georgia, where Jacob Eason started as a true freshman last year at Georgia, and he had some unbelievable wins. Jacob Eason really helped Georgia. He had some late games. I think he beat Tennessee with a last-minute drive. He was their starter going into week 1 this year. And in week 1 of the college football season, Jacob Eason got hurt. And once Jacob Eason got hurt, they started a true freshman, Jake Fromm. Now, Jake Fromm took his spot. He stepped into the injury. He's been playing well. Looks like he's never going to give it back. And then this last weekend, Justin Fields, the number 1 quarterback in high school in the nation, just committed to Georgia. So we're going to have 3 5-star recruits from 3 consecutive years at University of Georgia, which tells me Jacob Eason's probably the odd man out. And Jacob Eason should transfer away from Georgia. That's what I think is going to happen. There's a lot of speculation. He's, of course, not going to say anything until the end of the year. Just like Max Brown, USC's quarterback, waited till the year was over. And then said, look, I'm transferring to Pittsburgh. I'm done. We're going to see the same exact thing from Jacob Eason. Now, Jacob Eason has 3 pretty good options where he could transfer. He could transfer to WSU, my home school. He could transfer to University of Washington. So Washington State, University of Washington, or University of Miami. I'm going to go through all the options and tell you where I think he's going to go. We'll start with my favorite school, my home school, Washington State University. Man, Jacob Eason and Mike Leach could be really, really interesting. Jacob Eason has an incredible arm. He's huge. He's not overly athletic, but he can move a little bit. And Jacob Eason really, really can throw the ball. So Jacob Eason in Mike Leach's system, woo, that could be crazy. Now, the timing isn't great. So the way it would work is Jacob Eason would have to take a year off. And in his year off, likely Tyler Hilinski, the backup quarterback right now at WSU, would move in and become the starting quarterback. Hilinski is a redshirt sophomore right now. Next year, he'll be a junior. The year after that, the year that Jacob Eason would finally be able to come to WSU, Hilinski would be a senior. So it's pretty unlikely, I would think, that Jacob Eason could come in and beat out Tyler Hilinski. It's very possible. We've seen Mike Leach. I mean, he's gone as far as benching Luke Falk. So, I mean, he clearly just plays whoever's best at the moment. But another thing we can't, and we can't be afraid of competition, but we should be worried about, does he really want to play for Mike Leach? Yeah, you would think every quarterback, of course he would want to play for Mike Leach. You get to throw the ball 1,000,000 times. But I get the sense, and again, I would love to sit down with Mike Leach. I think Mike Leach would be an amazing interview. I want to get a beer with him someday. He never will, but it would be incredible because he's just one of those guys. He has so much to say, and he's so interesting and fascinating. But I think it's very possible and very likely Mike Leach is a hard guy to work with. I get that sense. He benched the best quarterback in the history of WSU 2 times this season. I don't know that I'd want to work with Mike Leach. I get that sense. He's not a great guy to work with. So he doesn't go to WSU. What about UW? UW's also pretty likely. Honestly, if I'm transferring, even as a WSU fan, I'm going to get so much hate for this. I know I'm a bad fan. If I had to choose between WSU and UW to play football, and if I'm from Seattle, I'm going to UW. My family can come watch me. It's a better football program. Chris Peterson, UW's coach, is honestly a genius. And UW is actually capable of competing at a national level, where WSU athletically is not. WSU has average athletes and average size. UW has better athletes, a little better size, and the timing works better. Jake Browning would graduate, and Jacob Eason could come right in and become the starting quarterback. Because he'll be a junior next year. He's a junior this year. Jake Browning will be a senior next year. Jacob Eason comes in, takes the job. So UW's more likely than WSU, in my opinion. Now, the most likely team for Jacob Eason to go to is University of Miami. I've talked many times about Mark Richt. Mark Richt he was unjustly fired from Georgia. Mark Richt averaged 10 wins every season he's been in college football. He's an amazing coach. He really is. And in fact, the weekend before Mark Richt got fired from Georgia, Mark Richt was visiting Jacob Eason up in Seattle. And Mark Richt got the call. He got fired that weekend. But the guys appeared really close. Mark Richt had no idea he was getting fired. He was visiting his quarterback recruit, who he loved. And because, Mark Richt wasn't coaching anywhere the next year, Jacob Eason said, look, I'm going to stay at Georgia, I guess. So the two appear really close. Now, the timing at Miami is very key. He gets to go work with a coach he likes, and Malik Rozier, the quarterback right now at Miami, is a junior. He's a junior this year. Next year, he'll be a senior. Then when he's gone, there will be an opening, and Jacob Eason can slide right in and become the starting quarterback at Miami. Mark Richt is fantastic. He's a great coach, and the guys have a close relationship. And already once has Jacob Eason made this decision. He already picked, instead of UW, he picked Mark Richt. Very clear, Jacob Eason would rather play for Mark Richt than Chris Peterson in UW. He already made that decision once before when he left high school. So Jacob Eason, I would love to have you at WSU. You'd be a fantastic addition. I do think we have Connor Neville. Connor Neville is a quarterback that no one's talking about, but Connor Neville will probably be our starter down the road. Connor Neville is a great backup quarterback we have. But Jacob Eason, I think he's going to Miami. So we have WSU has Connor Neville. UW has whoever they have. And I think Jacob Eason is going to go to University of Miami and play for Mark Richt.